The 6,647th meeting of the Security Council is called to order. As this is the first meeting of the Council for the month of November, I should like to take this opportunity to pay tribute on behalf of the Council to Her Excellency Mr. Joy Ogwu, Permanent Representative of Nigeria, for her service as President of the Security Council during the month of October. I am sure I speak for all members of the Council in expressing deep appreciation to Ambassador Ogwu and her delegation for the great diplomatic skill with which they conducted the Council's business last month. Thank you, Ambassador. The provisional agenda for this meeting is the situation in Libya. The agenda is adopted. Under Rule 37 of the Council's Provisional Rules of Procedure, I invite a representative of Libya to participate in this meeting. It is so decided. Under Rule 39 of the Council's Provisional Rules of Procedure, I invited Mr. Luis Moreno Ocampo, Prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, to participate in this meeting. It is so decided. I now give the floor to Mr. Luis Moreno Ocampo.
Thank you. Mr. President, it is my honor to brief the United Nations Security Council on the activities of the Office of the Prosecutor of the International Criminal Court in the situation of Libya, in furtherance of United Nations Security Council Resolution 1970. In accordance with the Office policy, the prosecution was focusing the investigations on those bearing the greatest responsibility for the most serious crimes committed in Libya. Let me stress that the Security Council consensus on the need to ensure justice for the victims of crimes in Libya, as expressed through Resolution 1970 and reiterated 2 months later during my first briefing, has greatly enhanced the cooperation received by the Office, and this has facilitated our investigation. Mr. President, as I anticipated in my previous briefing on 16th of May, the Office requested arrest warrant against 3 individuals who, according to the evidence, were most responsible for the attacks against unarmed civilians on the streets and in their homes in Benghazi, Tripoli, and other cities in Libya during the month of February. After a thorough evaluation of the evidence presented on 27th of June, the judges of the Pretrial Chamber No. 1 issued arrest warrants for Muammar Gaddafi, Saif al-Islam Gaddafi, and Abdullah al-Sanusi for murders as a crime against humanity under Article 71A and persecution as a crime against humanity under Article 71H. The Chamber concluded that there were reasonable grounds to believe that Muammar Gaddafi and Saif al-Islam are both mutually responsible as principals to the crimes pursuant to Article 25(3)(a) of the Statutes as indirect co-perpetrators of the crime against humanity. The Chamber found that Abdullah al-Sanusi was also responsible as a direct perpetrator. Mr. President, allow me to update you on the current situation of the 3 indictees. On 20 October, Muammar Gaddafi died. The rest of the court is following the formal procedures to obtain official documents from the Libyan government to certify the death. The pretrial chamber, after reviewing the documents, may decide to withdraw the warrant against Muammar Gaddafi and to end the case against him. Concerning Saif al-Islam Gaddafi and Abdullah al-Sanusi, the office is galvanizing efforts to ensure that they face justice. We have received questions from individuals linked to Saif al-Islam about the legal conditions attaching to his potential surrender to the court. What will happen to him if he appears before the judges? Could he be sent back to Libya? What would happen if he were to be convicted or acquitted? We clarify that in accordance with Article 107 of the statute, he may request the judges not to order his return to Libya after his conviction or acquittal, but he be sent to a different country, provided that the country has consented to receiving him. Judges can also decide if he may be extradited to another state. I believe it is a positive sign that the court is seen as a guarantor of the rights of the suspects. On the other hand, we are also receiving information that a group of mercenaries may be endeavoring to facilitate Saif al-Islam's escape from Libya. We are calling upon states to do all they can to disrupt any such operation. It is up to Saif al-Islam Gaddafi and Abdullah al-Sanusi to decide if they will surrender themselves, remain in hiding, or try to escape to another country. It is up to the UN Security Council and states to ensure that they face justice for the crimes for which they are charged. Mr. President, we are grateful for the strong and essential cooperation received from the Libyan authorities, including a recent invitation to visit Libya. During the last weekend, the office conducted the first assessment mission to Libya to prepare for the collection of further evidence on the territory where the alleged crimes took place. The office coordinated with local authorities and also with local civil society. The office met with various local committees with a mandate to investigate crimes committed by different parties in Libya. Mr. President, the current focus of the investigation is twofold. Firstly, it continues the collection of evidence against Saif al-Islam Gaddafi and Abdullah Sanusi in preparation for their eventual trial. Secondly, the office is continuing its investigation into gender crimes committed in Libya. The office continues to search out the personal assets of Saif al-Islam Gaddafi and Abdullah al-Sanusi for the potential benefit of the victims through reparations awarded by the court. Since the opening of the investigation, the office has been in contact with the UN Sanctions Committee, which is assisted by a panel of experts, and with Interpol to coordinate its investigative efforts in relation to the assets, the personal assets of the suspects. The court has sent, at the end of September, requests for assistance to Libya, state parties, and 5 UN Security Council non-state parties to identify, trace, seize, and freeze all the personal assets belonging to the suspects. The office encouraged the Security Council and states to assist the court in identifying and freezing these assets. In the second aspect of the investigation, the prosecution is mindful that in Libya, rape is considered to be one of the most serious crimes, affecting not just the victim, but also the family and the community, and can trigger retaliation and honor-based violence. Accordingly, the prosecution has adopted a strategy which seeks to limit the exposure of victims. The office is organizing its investigation by focusing on obtaining alternate evidence and identifying avenues of investigations which support the charges without the need for multiple victims' statements. In this respect, the prosecution has been in contact with different sources reporting multiple victims of sexual violence allegedly committed by Gaddafi security forces. While it is premature to draw conclusions on specific numbers, the information and evidence indicate at this stage that hundreds of rapes were committed during the conflict. The investigation will benefit from a reporting system that has been set up by the Libyan authorities through the Ministry of Women and Social Affairs, with the purpose of affording rape victims the opportunity to come forward. The Office of the Prosecutor has also interviewed a limited number of victims who were kidnapped and raped in unknown secret detention centers. The information and evidence thus far collected does not yet indicate who may be the most responsible for such gender crimes. We have some evidence showing that commanders gave orders to commit rape in the Western Mountains area. And we have some indicia, we are screening possible witness, that indicated that Muammar Gaddafi himself and al-Sanusi and other high officials were discussing the use of rapes to persecute those considered dissidents or rebels. Mr. President, let me conclude. There are allegations of crimes committed by NATO forces, allegations of crimes committed by the Libya government, NTC, including the alleged detention of civilians suspected to be mercenaries and the alleged killing of detained combatants, as well as allegations of additional crimes committed by Gaddafi forces. These allegations will be examined impartially and independently by the office. The office was informed that the new Libyan authorities are in the process of preparing a comprehensive strategy to address these allegations, including the circumstances surrounding the death of Muammar Gaddafi. In accordance with the Rome Statute, the International Criminal Court should not intervene if there are genuine national proceedings. Should the Libyan authorities decide to prosecute the case we are investigating, they prosecute Saif al-Islam Gaddafi and Abdullah al-Sanusi for the same crimes under investigation by the International Criminal Court, they should submit an admissibility challenge and it will be for the International Criminal Court judges to decide. In assessing this situation, the office will benefit from the work of the UN Commission of Inquiry, which should present a report in March 2012. The office is coordinating with the Commission Chairperson, Philippe Kirsch. The office will be prepared to present to the Security Council a comprehensive report on the crimes allegedly committed by the different parties in Libya since 15 of February 2011 and